Hello YouTube, today we got an MSI GT73 EVR 7RF. I usually don't get the system here simply because this connector is the most foolproof connector there is. Now on this particular connector, what you can notice is an extra pin right here. I'm not sure what exactly that pin does, this side pin. However, I don't stuck on this connector, so if you decide to send it my way, buy the connector online and enclose it with the package, because I don't get many of those here at all. The reason I don't get this here at all because it's hardly ever breaks. And what breaks usually is the tip of the cord, the tip of the power supply that you plug in here. For this system, I explained to the client that it's probably has nothing to do with the connector, but the client said he has 3 different power supplies, and 3 different power supplies are loose inside of the connector itself, so he wants some stability. And it could be loose, yeah, because this is the connector here. You see all the pins are intact, and that's compared to the new connector you see right there. And when you're buying the new connector like that, they come with different pin layouts. Some of the pins are round like this one, and some pins are flat like this thing right here, flat. All right. So before you're gonna buy the connector, make sure it's either flat like that or it's round like that. And because the round one not gonna fit into the flat hole of the motherboard. If you start to make the hole bigger, you're gonna damage the motherboard. So before you're gonna do anything, take the system apart, see if it's the round pins here, see if it has this extra fifth leg right here, which I'm not sure what it does, but maybe it does something. So I'm gonna remove this connector. Somebody already tried to remove it before, which is no big deal. Most of the laptops I get here, somebody already worked on before. And they usually give up and they send it my way. So it's, again, it's fine, totally fine. So yeah, let me show you how to do it properly. This board is extremely thick and it dissipates the heat pretty well. So this thing's probably gonna be in the way. So the goal is to heat this thing up as much as possible. You see memory chips are removed already. I guess the video card is right here, has also been removed. So I'm sure I have a video on how to take the system apart from like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago or whatever. So let's remove this guy here. All right. And when you're shipping a board like that, to me, again, before you ship anything, try another power supply, right? And sometimes what happens is the plug goes in only one way here. But if you flip the plug over and try to force the plug the other way, maybe the pin starts to move, because the top pins are slightly wider, the lower pins are slightly narrower. And when you reverse the plug and try to shove the plug into those pins, the pins might start to move. Maybe that's the reason why again, it's mostly physical damage, has nothing to do with the connector itself, honestly. This connector is as foolproof as they come. All right, so we got some padding right there, which we need to make sure is gonna stay there once we are done. And yeah, let's insulate the area. Let's clean up this paste here. I'm gonna put a new paste anyway. The number one question I get asked is, do you put a new paste on your on the CPUs, GPUs? All the time. The paste comes in like that, and I got a ton of it, right? A ton of it. Just broke the tip, I think, when it fell. Hold on. No big deal, still gonna work fine. All right. Still gonna work fine. So we're gonna use this guy instead of that guy. That's not gonna dry. Tons of thermal paste. So no worries. Everything is replaceable. Alrighty, I insulated the area like that so that the heat won't damage anything else. And I will try to drop this guy from the motherboard and put this guy in. Alrighty, let's see if we can add some flux to the connections. And add some leaded base solder. Once the leaded base solder is added, we can drop the melting temperature quite significantly. All right, so I added some, but it didn't penetrate into the board quite well. What we're gonna do is take the hot air and try to penetrate the solder into the motherboard as much as possible. That way, it might be easier to remove this whole thing. All right. Not the easiest connector to work on. Let's see if it's gonna be even removable. Doesn't even bulge. Not even bulging. Come on. Nothing is happening. The sides are holding the most, it seems like, because they are grounded. All right, so it seems to move now. All right. Did it fall all the way? Yeah. All right. Good job. All right, so what I do now, I have to clean up the soldering points as fast as possible, and they're not cleaning up. Yeah, they're not cleaning up because the board dissipates all the heat from the soldering iron, so I'm not getting anything. All right, so let's do this. Let's add some solder. Add some solder. Leaded base solder. I mean, if it's silver base solder, it's mission impossible to do anything about it. All right, let's bring it like that. Like that. Let's do a little bit of heat. We usually want to cut the desoldering braid so that the heat won't dissipate as much towards the older, towards the used solder. Right now the heat dissipates both sides of the wick, but for now it's still sucking, so it's all right. I hope the client of this motherboard is going to be watching this video, and if he could leave a comment below stating did it solve the problem or not. Alright, so now I want to don't put your fingers under the hot air. Come on. Good job. Good job. All right. All right, let's inspect the beautiful. Beautiful. Pretty much super clean. All right. And you see nothing got damaged. No traces are damaged anywhere. So the board is totally fine. Let's flip it over, see if there are any damage on the top side. No damage on the top side. I just need to clean up this little tiny piece right there, because it might not let me see the new connector should be sitting nice and flush. Yeah, you see some remains are left on here, so we do need to clean it up so that the connector will be sitting flush. All right, good job. All right, switch back to the, all right. No, we don't really need, we still probably need, where is the new connector at? So we got the new connector. Goes in perfectly fine. So what we're gonna do is put a whole bunch of plugs here so that the solder would be penetrating all the way in. Put it like that. all the chemicals get spilled all over the place now. Let me clean them up for a second, hold on. All right, so this is not something that you want to do at home. I'm a professional. All right, let's see. Again, don't do it at home because there is a big issue with this process. I want the connector to be sitting as tightly as possible towards the motherboard. All right. It's not bulging because we need more flux. Now I know what that leg is for. That leg is for support, so that when you solder it, it's gonna be soldered. All right, so here. All right. Come on. Good job. All right, so what I did was I stabilized it in place with my finger, and now I can stabilize the sides because I was only soldering on the inside. And this board just sucks all the heat into itself. Even this is like powerful iron right here. It never has any issues trying to solder anything, but here it's not even doing anything. Again, oh, shoot. Right, so we're gonna help it a little bit. The way we help it, again, using hot air, but not as much, just like warming things up, right? Because I don't want the new connector to melt. No, that's not even doing much. Because I put it on the lowest settings, the hot air is on the lowest settings just to make things flow. All right, so it did do a good job here. Wonderful. But here, good job. Right there, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Good job. Good job. And one last point right here. All right. Probably too much solder here. Okay, good job. Again, that was like the lowest settings on the hot air, just to make it warm enough for solder to melt. So I'm gonna clean up here. And you know what you wanna clean up with the brush, because too much, even though this is a no clean flux, you still have to clean it. If it would be a no clean flux, then I would never be able to clean it up here. Like that. I know the angle of the camera wasn't the best here, but I mean, you got the point of how to remove it, how to solder a new one in place. All right. Now let's work with the... Okay. That. You see how beautiful the solder is? Yeah, looks good to me. This is just some air from the Q-tip. All right. All right. Okay, looks good. Let's clean it up one more time. Beautiful. Not as beautiful here on the left side, but it's a support leg, so it's okay. Totally fine. Let's try the lean-free cloth for the cleanup. Let's see, is it much better? Much better. Beautiful. Beautiful. Just some flux penetrated the rest of the motherboard, so I need to clean it up right here. Now, I'm not gonna show you the whole 10-15 minutes of air drying here, but just like the process itself. All right. And since this is a board, it's gonna dry up by the time the client receives it back for sure. There won't be any, and this is 99% ISP, so it's not gonna short anything. All right. Beautiful. Alrighty. The heatsink is clean. The CPU is clean. Let's add some thermal paste. Alrighty. That's good. Oh, shoot. When I was throwing away the Q-tip, it missed the garbage can and landed onto the... Right, perfect. I landed on the floor. That's what I meant to say. In this laptop, you can actually see how well everything sits when you look straight through the heatsink, and everything sits beautifully. Perfect and beautiful. Right, so again, the client requested everything to be fixed. So let me get the gloves off. Get the other gloves on. If you like the video, please leave a like. I'm not sure if you want to subscribe because besides power jack repairs, there's nothing really going on this channel. So let's see. All right. I do have a much better voltmeter. Don't worry about it. I'm so old. I'm used to using analog stuff. And I used to, it just like that's what was my education in an analog, not in digital age. All right, so the grounds. So this is not a ground. That extra pin right here, it's not a ground for sure. All right, so we got, so those three are grounds, like this guy right here and right here. This is obviously plus and this is obviously a plus. All right, let's see how far that plus goes to. So plus probably goes right here. Right, yeah. Right here, then goes right here. Right, and then goes over this way, right? Yeah, and then it probably goes right here. Then probably goes right here. Now the good thing is we don't have a shortage going through here, and we don't have a shortage going through here, and there is no shortage here, so that means the board doesn't have a short. So it, oh shoot, take a look at this. Uh-oh, I was too soon to say. Oh, hold on. No. So you see, so what happened, it's not a jack issue to begin with. The problem was that the client plugged it in the wrong way. You know, he flipped the plug, plugged it the wrong way, and my understanding, unless it's like this thing should not be showing me 0 on both ends of this capacitor and here. No, I'm pretty sure it had nothing. I mean, again, sometimes clients are misleading. Like they tell me that it's just the jack, right? But it's not just the jack here, because we got two capacitors that's not showing exactly what they need to show, right? That's not supposed to be happening like that. You know, let me just double check. All right, let's use the more expensive device. Let's take a look. Hold on. So we checking for grounds. All right. So here, ground. Okay, good. Ground. No. Why is it? Right, let's do something like that right here. So now this capacitor is fine. Let's take a look at this capacitor. This capacitor is fine too. Let's try the ones that are questionable in the analog. So that's a ground. How about here? Still ground. Also a ground. No, hold on 1 second here. Take a look right there. We still get some sort of resistance on this end. So my analog device was correct. All right. My analog device was correct that it didn't like something here. But it does show us the resistance, so it's not total 0. Here, let's do one more thing. Hold on. Unless those capacitors are extremely low resistance. So no, the capacitors is fine. So maybe this board is fine. I'm not sure. Again, this is a questionable. Again, when I get a motherboard that has a, so probably fine. Okay, so probably checks out. All right. I just never seen a resistance being. I was thinking it's like grounding, but it's not grounding. So the capacitors are fine. So maybe everything's fine. All right. So please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. Thanks.